What is going on, crypto family? I hope everybody's doing awesome and had a great Easter. Today we got a really big surprise for you guys. So we've got a really cool interview with the tech mogul Eyal Hertzog. So this guy's a co-founder of Bancor, right? And then we're going to top it off with a nice little surprise. Well, I guess it's not a surprise if I blow it now, but the legendary venture capitalist, Tim Draper, he's going to be popping by too to talk about Bancor. So in this interview, Eyal's going to tell us all about Bancor. He's going to break it down by the nuts and bolts and why we should be so excited about it. A lot of you guys already know about Bancor, especially if you're in the crypto space. But if you guys aren't and you guys are kind of new to this area, they're kind of like a, I guess, decentralized exchange of sorts, right? To where if you want to swap tokens, you can basically swap one token for another token, and you can do it without having to find a buyer. So it's really, really cool. They got plugins, they got wallets. You don't even have to go to their site to do this stuff here pretty quick. So there's a lot of really, really cool things that he's going to break down for us. And today is the release of their new wallet. So we got some screenshots here of the UX and the UI. So hopefully you guys take a look at that. Stick around for this interview, man. It's really good. They're going to really break it down and tell us all about it. And then you got Tim Draper on the other side, man. The legendary venture capitalist guy telling us why he's an advisor to the project. So stick around. I'll catch you on the other side. Hey, happy Easter, everybody. Today we got a really cool interview with Eyal Hertzog. He is the product architect and co-founder of Bancor. This dude is a tech monster. He's got tons of experience in the tech space. For instance, he was on the Israeli Defense Force, heading up some of their computer networks and teams, the founder of MetaCafe, AppCoin, that was that cloud-based marketplace app that traded hearts as currency. Not quite crypto. I think he was just maybe a bit ahead of the curve a little bit. He's also the product architect at Bancor, like we said, and he's super connected in the space with people like Tim Draper and Brock Pierce, just to name a few. But before we talk about Bancor, let's learn some fun things about Eyal. So everybody kind of has like a guilty pleasure. For me, it's cigars and creating businesses and things like that. But for you, what would be like your one guilty pleasure that people don't know about?
Oh, so for me, it's clearly music. I love to play music. And we have a music room with some of my friends for the last, I would say 14 years. And we just go there and play music, and it's a lot of fun. That's my guilty pleasure.
That is cool. So what type of music? You into like gangster rap and like Snoop Dogg stuff, or?
Rarely. We actually like rock, like, a little bit old rock, like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And, we like Sting, we like stuff like that, kind of mainstream, but fun mainstream, so it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. So you play the guitar, or which instrument you play?
I play the bass guitar.
Nice.
And I also like to play the piano when I'm alone.
Ah, very cool. So a November Rain guy. I love it.
Exactly. We play that.
Very cool. So where do you live? You got any kids? You got family? Obviously, we know your hobbies. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I live right at the border of Tel Aviv, in a city called Ramat HaSharon. Very close to where I served in the military, actually. That's the view from my balcony. And I have 3 kids. The oldest is 10. His brother is 7. And they both are better than me in Fortnite at this point in time, which is very embarrassing to me. And I thought I was an okay player with, shooter games, but apparently I'm not up to the...
These kids catch on quick, man.
Oh,
they'll embarrass us fast.
A little girl, she's a year and a half. She's really something. That's me.
Very cool. What's your favorite video game you guys play together?
So, right now it's definitely Fortnite. That's a big deal. We watch a lot of videos by Ninja. He's apparently the world champion. I showed them a video of the world champion that they know very well on CNBC or something like that, interviewed. They're so excited about that. It is a big deal right now, this game. It's going well.
Very cool, very cool. So about Bancor, a lot of us, like I myself know a lot about it. I'm a big fan. A lot of people in the crypto space know about it. But for people that, haven't heard of Bancor or all the cool stuff that it does, can you kind of explain it in a nutshell as to, how we can use it and why we should all be excited about it?
So I think the the reason to be about it is because this is really one of the first few examples of how smart contracts can be useful for people, for users, for end users. I mean, obviously the concept was revolutionary, and like most revolutionary concepts, it takes time to grasp what it means. I like to describe smart contracts as like virtual trustees. It's like a virtual lawyer that you can trust 100%, and it can hold assets and behave according to a specific logic that you pre-program, like a contract that you give to a trustee, and then can conduct business with parties that do not have to trust each other and still engage in business together based on a common agreement. So that's a very powerful tool in the society, and this is why we have courts and lawyers and you know, business law and all that. But this format of trustees is so powerful and can replace a lot of that overhead with a very, very efficient digital system. And it's really hard to kind of imagine how it would be used. So, you know, interestingly, the first use was just multi-sig, just, you know, to use this smart contract in order to create a wallet, which requires 3 out of 5 parties to sign in order to release funds from the wallet. So that's a very useful and practical tool, but sure, that's not a revolution by any extent. Then I think, you know, we saw the first real revolutionary usage, which was token issuance in an ICO or TGE. That obviously, that use case that used smart contracts for the most of it exploded, like completely. Billions of dollars of capital has been deployed to teams that are now building and working on blockchain products. So it's an amazing disruption. Everyone is nervous because not so much has come out yet, but it usually takes between, you know, a year or two to kind of get a decent product out for a new venture. I mean, that's actually reasonable. And ICO was definitely big, and most of the ICOs were also, not all of them, but most of them were also use cases for this concept of smart contracts. And some of those use cases, I think that they show the true power behind blockchain, which is, I like to describe it as a decentralized database. When you have a decentralized database, you can create those virtual trustees when you have the decentralized database. When you have a database that is not controlled by any single entity. But you know, the funny thing is that in order to run a decentralized database, you need to incentivize nodes in order to maintain it and secure it. All those nodes miners. So you need a currency. Yep. Now, if it is a decentralized database, you need a decentralized currency. So a decentralized database requires a decentralized currency in order to operate efficiently and to cover the costs of those who are maintaining it. So those are two inventions, essentially, that could not be invented separately, the decentralized currency and the decentralized database, aka blockchain. And this is why it confuses so many people, because those are two different things. Decentralized currency is like gold. Gold is a decentralized currency, just not a digital one. Right. This is the first digital decentralized currency. Hooray, what an achievement. Guess what? There's a bigger achievement here. It's called a decentralized database. Now, one can argue that the two most important technology for a computer is the network and the database. So if the computer is like the thinking mind, the network is the ability to speak, and the database is the ability to write, which those abilities obviously enable us to collaborate in the old world, and replaced by computer communication and database and digital communication to make things more efficient, where they are like a million times more efficient than they used to be. I'm sure everyone will agree to that. So, you know, in the first iteration, we decentralized computing by making a computer IBM compatible. We had a standard. We had an agreement of what is a personal computer. So we decentralized that. Decentralization is always about an agreement because there's nothing real to it. That is what is the decentralization in the computing world. People that agree to run the same software, they create a decentralized network, like email. Sure. It's all decentralized. And in the second phase, we decentralized networking, call it the internet. I mean, there were many networks before the internet. They were centralized. Internet was the first agreement about what a network is. And now we are experiencing the third phase, in which we decentralize databases. And boy, oh boy, I mean, just like the internet revolution made the PC revolution seem small and insignificant, the current revolution is going to make the internet revolution seems as small as insignificant in respect. So this is the first time that, you know, people can have their own data managed by them, for their benefit. It's almost like we do with the software IP when we go open source. So now it's for us. Now it's a software that's only designed to be the best software for us. The same go now for services. You get a lot of services. It's not only software that we use. Actually, most people use services, online services. Now those services can operate in the same way that open source software does. They can operate for the end user and just for the end user. And when you do that, you create a new kind of competition. I mean, no one could beat Microsoft in the competition for servers, no other company. But the whole internet could. The people could. That's what happened. And now you're going to have the people compete with Google, and the people competing with Facebook, and the people competing with tax authority and you know and all kind of things, because now you can just do it. Yep. By the people that needs it. And that's a very big revolution, and we're just starting to see the first use cases. And I think that Bancor is showing one of the first use cases in this environment for smart contracts. And what we show is that you can convert any currency to any currency without requiring exchanges and market makers.
That's huge. For people to understand that and to let it sink in, you can basically swap tokens on your platform without using an exchange or without fees. That is huge. So just wanted to highlight that little point right there for people so they understand the immense value. You can basically take any ERC20 token. If you had a bunch of Ethereum and you wanted to trade it into another ERC20 token, you don't have to go to another exchange. You just stay right on the Bancor platform, swap it for whatever you want, no fees, no middlemen. That is pretty awesome.
And I would say it's not even to say that they're on the platform, because when you go to Bancor.network and you want to convert between two different tokens, what you're essentially doing, and you can do it with your MetaMask, you're using our user interface in order to create the transaction, and then you can issue the transaction from your MetaMask, and that will convert you to one token to another, or Ether to another token. We have DAI today, so that tracks the dollar. So we have a lot of interesting things coming up. But the idea is that it all happens on-chain in decentralized way, and it's just, you know, it doesn't require any order book or market maker, because it uses a very different system for liquidity. A system that is actually inspired by smart contracts and what they can do. And it's based on the ability of a smart contract to be the market maker between two tokens, and essentially allowing you to convert between token A to token B. And whenever you convert A to B, then B becomes slightly more expensive. And whenever you convert B to A, then A becomes slightly more expensive. And this way, you know, you can always convert at some price, but you can never say that it's a bad price, because a bad price in one way is actually a great price on the other way, because you don't need fees.
So people convert tokens anytime without ever having to worry about another buyer in the marketplace, right? So you don't have to worry about place to buy your coins. You can just swap them using your guys' protocols.
That's right. And if everyone is just selling a token, no one's buying it. Everyone's just selling and selling and selling. So guess what? The price will drop and drop and drop. And by dropping, it will actually discourage people for selling it because it's low right now. So you don't want to sell it. So it creates like a natural dynamic, which is very healthy for market-based price discovery, but just not in the same way that it happens today, which is actually very problematic. Mm-hmm. Because today, people correlate liquidity with volume. They see a lot of volume, they're like, oh, there's high liquidity, a lot of people buying and selling, this is a very liquid token. But one can be fake very easily.
Yep.
You just buy and sell from yourself. So that's a very, very vulnerable system. Another vulnerability, a big one, is pump and dump. By buying and selling from yourself, you're creating an image as if something is becoming hot and going well, and people might get fooled for that and start buying it, and then you'll dump it. And we know a lot of groups are doing it on Telegram. They spam everyone. So that's a real vulnerability in the current system. You can't do that in the Bancor system because you don't trade with other people. Yep.
Yeah, this is really going to disrupt the exchanges because the exchanges have just been riddled with issues, like you were talking about. Some of them falsify trade volumes. Some of them are part of these pump and dumps. Some are partnered with scams. And then let's face it, a lot of them just break. You just can't get into them, and you can't do the trades when you want them to. And then you look at Binance, and they're not part of the regulatory system, so they're bouncing from Japan over to Malta. With you guys, we're basically just swapping tokens using your guys' protocols. So that is really, really cool. We don't need anybody else.
And you know what? You do need something else, but it's not an exchange. I call it an asset tokenizer. Just like Tether or many others that do that. You separate the tokenization of money, of US dollars or euro or what have you. You separate the tokenization of that to the trading itself, which are two different things. So you can use one provider in order to tokenize your dollar, and it's like a known provider, and now you can take those dollars and you can convert them to Ether, and you can convert them to any token, and to Bitcoin, and that would work cross-chain as well. But I'm saying a lot of the work that exchanges are doing today is really with KYCing a customer, verifying, making sure to apply limits where they should be applied with fiat currency. But as soon as you're in the crypto realm and you have access to smart contract, hopefully with Bitcoin, we'll have that with RSK soon. So at that point, you just can do that on chain without no exchange, with no need for market makers, with potentially much higher liquidity. Just work with that.
That is huge, because when you think about all these, the ICOs or the new cryptos that are coming out, they get kind of almost extorted by a lot of these exchanges, where they have to pay all this crazy money to get listed on the exchange. They have to play by their rules, maybe give away, a ton of their coins. But with you guys, they could just be listing their coins on your guys' platform and basically be swapping day one. And then you guys report. Let me let you answer that first, then I got a little secondary question for that.
So, it's quite remarkable. I mean, every single token can guarantee liquidity, high liquidity. It can control the level of the liquidity of its own token, make sure that it's liquidity which is very cheap, open for everyone because it's on-chain, and resistant to pump and dump. And this is something that every ICO can get, and we have a lot of them on our coming up list if you follow the Reddit. So I think many others are just not aware that this solution exists, that it allows them to put a widget on their website where anyone with MetaMask or any other Web3 wallet can buy and sell the token from their website. They don't need even to come to Bancor.network. It's like a widget. So most of them don't realize that they just give full and complete liquidity for their token, and they think that the only avenue is an exchange. And what happens is that they usually pay some obscure exchange with very limited amount of users, instead of having a solution that address all users and is free. It doesn't cost you anything. It works for everyone. So I think the only reason today to be on an exchange is if you want to have access to those users that cannot use on-chain tools, that cannot use MetaMask, that cannot keep a private key, that the whole crypto exposure is through some exchange. So if you want to address those customers, those investors, those contributors, if you want to address them, that you want to be on that exchange. But today there are over 1,000 or so, so a lot of them. So it becomes complicated to get that benefit. And I think that on-chain tools to trade are becoming simpler and more advanced and more secure. So
sure.
that happens as well.
So, okay, say for instance I had 1,000 Ethereum and I wanted to switch it into another token that was ERC20. Do you guys actually hold all those tokens on your guys' platform? How would that work to make sure that that swap happens?
So we are not holding any tokens on our platform. The way that it works is that the Bancor Liquidity Network is essentially a set of smart tokens. Each one is a smart contract. And you essentially have pairs between BNT, which is our network token, to any other token. So like Ether and Eyal and Ion and whatever other token in the network, you have like a pair with BNT. And each pair is something we like to call token relay. And it allows you to convert BNT to that other token and that other token to BNT. And the price discovery mechanism work as we described before. So if you buy one of them, it gets more expensive, depends on how much you buy. And that allows you essentially, when you have those smart contracts on the Ethereum network that do that offer that service, then you can convert from any token in the network to any other token through BNT. So you convert it to BNT and then to the other token. And what's been amazing is that from day one, we saw arbitrageurs completely sync the price with all the prices in the exchanges. Because if the price of Bancor network is different than the price of exchange, this is simply a table. And as you imagine, arbitrageurs do not like to leave money on the table. If you buy something cheap here and sell it expensive somewhere else, right, then someone's going to do it. So the network is automatically synchronized in terms of prices with whatever going on in exchanges. So we see that as well.
Very cool. And then you guys have also, I guess, not you partnered, but you've already had like over 100 different crypto projects partner with you guys. Are there any more big ones coming to your guys' platform that we should know about? Because there's just so many, right? So which ones you want to speak to?
So you know what, it's a good opportunity to say something that after 20 years being a startup entrepreneur, I was inspired by ICQ acquisition back in 1998. They were bought by AOL for $400 million, and that kind of made me want to create my own companies. And the funny thing, I'm saying I've been trying to do that since. It's pretty hard. And throughout all these years, what's been amazing is that absolutely no one could predict what's going to be the next killer app. I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful that it's so hard to predict. That the expression of us as a collective society of what is the next thing that we are getting excited about collectively is so mysterious. And there are so few people that were able to kind of guess even once where everyone's going and wait for them there in the right product. There are people that are unique, like Steve Jobs or even Elon Musk, that were able to do that more than once. But most legends did it once, right?
Right.
And so I think it's very, very hard. And what I'm actually focusing on is, and I think the crypto community can benefit from doing that more often, is focus on the successes and try to figure out what made them a success. And don't assume that this is a success because there are many stupid people in the world. Not like me, I'm smart, and all those stupid things are making this stupid thing a success. Don't assume that. Try to learn from the success. You shouldn't argue with the success. And you know, I was very excited to see the places where Bitcoin succeeded. And you know, Bitcoin disrupt mostly the black market. But it's also a market, a legitimate market to disrupt.
Sure, Silk Road. Yep.
And I was watching Ethereum disrupting the venture financing market. And being part of this market, you know, being in the venture business in the last 20 years, I think it was fascinating to see how this industry changes so fast. And one of the interesting things is that I see, you know, every venture would get now almost 20x what they would get like a year ago. And if you ask me if it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think it's a great thing. I think you should put more money in the hands of these kind of people. People that want to change the world, that build new things, that try new ideas, that want to try themselves, not just go and follow orders. Yeah. You want to give those people resources, and you want to make it a free market. You know, if the free market is giving them resources, it's even greater. Because if those entrepreneur fails, it's also a lesson for the investor. It makes him a better investor. He would remember this for the next time he does that. So there's a beautiful free market dynamics that happens here, and it was very exciting to see, and it's all thanks to the advancement of like second generation blockchain, like Ethereum, which were mostly about tokens, but I think we're seeing the third wave coming of the applications.
No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. And then when you talk about all the successes and stuff, I mean, if you look at Bancor, I mean, you guys were at like $3 million a week in November, and now you guys are at $40 million a week in trades. I mean, that's pretty awesome to see that kind of success, and it's just getting started. So that is really, really cool. Go ahead.
I'm saying that it's been amazing and it's amazing every time that it happens, that you theorize about some product, and then you build it, and then you improve it, and then you see more and more people using it. I mean, I think that this is kind of the things that people like me live for. You know, it's like, you know, if you're an artist and you made a film, so now people are watching your film, and you know they're coming to see your film. So that's very exciting for us, and we learn a lot, and we improve the user experience. This is what we do as people. I like to say, we're not building technology as much as we make it accessible for everyone. This is kind of the speciality of the Bancor team. We all came from like the end user consumer side of the business, and less from the enterprise or telco or hardcore technology part of the business. This is a very kind of unique part where people use applications personally because they feel something for those applications. They like those applications. That's why they use it. It's not any rational decision. It's not an ROI. It's a different kind of decision. It's like the same process when you want to choose which game you want to buy and play. What's more fun? Where I'm going to have more fun. So this is what we're trying to create in terms of kind of user experience, to use the crypto assets and to interact between people with currencies and information and marketplaces, and that's
very cool. So, like, I'm excited about this whole, project and business because, it brings real world value to just the everyday people that want to swap one crypto from the other. And then also you've got the ICOs that want to get their projects and businesses listed on exchanges, but they don't want to go through, being extorted and all the problems with doing that. So you allow them to come right onto your platform and they can be swapped, right away, which is amazing. But how do they, or I guess, do you guys report the trade volumes between the swaps? So say, for instance, you go from Ether to your guys' token, and then from your token to, say, XYZ coin. Does XYZ coin have all that trade volume reported to CoinMarketCap so their investors in that crypto can be excited about it too? Or does all the data just stay on your platform?
No, we are connected for a long time now to CoinMarketCap,
Awesome.
and we report all the trade information for all the currencies, so you can actually see that for like 60 something tokens right now. And we look forward to adding a lot more tokens because we believe that there's probably more action coming to the long tail than to the short tail. It's just like podcasts. Podcasts are nothing like radio. Many different people listen to many different podcasts. There's a huge variety, and everyone can really find the stuff that speaks to him in the language that they like and how they like to hear it. And I think that's beautiful. I think this variety is wonderful, and it only happens when you have no restrictions on distribution. In this case, thanks to the internet. So right now we are living in a world where there is a definite restriction of distribution of any form of stored value, of digital stored value. There's high amount of restriction. I mean, try getting anything traded in the markets today. But now you have this technology that allows you to make anything, issue a currency that can be liquid from day one and guarantee its liquidity. And anyone can do that, very low cost. It's actually the cost would be what level of liquidity you would like to have, because if you just let the free market determine its liquidity in exchanges, the cost is nothing to create such a currency, such a token. It's practically nothing. And that's a huge change. I mean, if I would ask you how much it would cost you to create this channel that anyone in the world can choose to listen to 20 years ago, that would probably be a few billions. And today, you can get paid for that. you can have sponsors.
Not here.
So it's really changed everything, and I think that here we're going to see the same thing, because when you open the gates, when you allow anyone to do something, that you're going to see a long tail. And you know what? There have been a lot of people that was criticizing the long tail of content. And we're saying that it's not professional and we should let those who understand how to create content do that. But, I found it funny then, I find it funny now. I mean, the level of creativity that you see in the long tail is just unparalleled, and you can try so many things. It's like such a quicker advancement. It's like having a variety in nature. It's important for it to evolve. So, I think we'll see the same thing with tokens and currencies, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and with your guys' platform right now, it looks like it's just for ERC20. Do you guys have any plans to bring on other stuff, like maybe Neo or Komodo or things like that?
So our plan is to work on any popular Generation 2 blockchain. And when I said Generation 2, I mean blockchain, which is not just a currency, but also a platform with smart contracts that allows you to build applications. So we want to be wherever the applications are, wherever the tokens are. All of these places we want to be, and it is possible. You can connect. There are more and more solutions and technologies and ideas how to do that. We are moving forward with some of them, and hopefully we'll see that soon. The reality today is like really 99% of the significant tokens are on Ethereum. Just the reality today. And I'm not sure if it will stay this way, but we already announced that we are big fans of EOS. We really believe in what they're building, and I think that they're solving some of the most hard challenges that developers have with Ethereum today. So we're definitely going to be operating on EOS as well, and I'm sure that other platforms will be considered when we want to add them to the network. But it's going to be a process, of course.
Okay, no worries. But you guys have some big news coming out too, don't you? You guys are going to be releasing the wallet, right? You want to talk a little bit about that for all of us to.
So for your listeners, we actually have like a pre-release of the wallet.
Oh, wow.
That is available right now. We're not making a big fuss of it. It's just kind of to test the water. So it's working, and we're gonna make a big announcement. And the thing is that the wallet is essentially what allows the user to, for the first time, have a consistent experience with using a Bancor network. So not only that you can exchange the tokens, you can also hold the tokens, and you can send the tokens to your friends on the Bancor network. It's a very simple platform. It has been audited carefully by several security firms. It's working on web. It's a web app essentially, and it integrates to your Telegram and to your Facebook Messenger and to your WeChat. So it becomes like your buddy in your favorite chat client. So whenever someone sends you a message or your transaction is approved, so your buddy is going to talk to you and sometimes offer you a few options to choose from. If someone requesting a token from you. And we build it in such a way that there's not just end users for the wallet. Each user has like a profile, and there are many communities. And we like to say in Bancor that every token is a community. Every currency is a community. It's the community of the people that use that token. So there is a nice community space for all of them, with a member list, whoever want to be listed, with a discussion board, and they're welcome to kind of interact. And we have even a business listing, stuff like that. So we like to see the currency solution not just like as a personal utility, which is a wallet, but as a community tool, which is more like Facebook group, and which each group is its unique token and community and project in many different cases, and allow that to be a platform to discover new project and to see your friends' favorite projects, stuff like that. So in this environment where every token is liquid to any other, it's just a big network of value that is interconnected at all time, and you can shift how you hold your assets, your capital. You can easily shift between them, and that's actually philosophically, it's something that I think is such an important choice that people don't really have today. It's in what form of capital I want to hold my assets.
Right.
In what form of money? That is something that has a huge effect on the society. I mean, whenever you shift, if I hold the currency A and tomorrow I'll hold more of currency B, then I will actually be weakening A and strengthening B a little bit.
Right.
By myself, I'm not making a big difference, but if a lot of people do that, so it's like people stop buying a product because they think that there's a problem with it. But this is people disengaging from an agreement, from a group, from an association, from a partnership, disengaging and maybe engaging in another one. And that is a very powerful concept when you start thinking about the kind of stuff.
You're scaring governments now. They're going to go from the US dollar to the Bancor token. I think it's amazing. I think it's really awesome. And for people that want to know more about the token metrics and how to invest and things like that, because this is really a revolutionary, platform. I mean, this can disrupt so many things and allow ease of use for so many people. And I hope they grasp the simpleness of it, and that's what makes it really cool. But where can they go to learn more about the token metrics and how to invest? And maybe you just want to talk about the token metrics a little bit.
So I think to learn about the token, how it works, how the system works, we just released a new white paper, which is trying to explain Bancor protocol in a way that is easier to grasp and to understand. And we'd love to get some feedback about that. We have some nice videos on our YouTube channels that kind of explain the concept and how it works. I think, it could be tricky in the beginning. I know it took me like months and months until I was able to understand what's so great about smart contracts. And, it's sometimes, the simplest things, they're a little tricky to get, but once you get it, you really understand that it provides a very simple value of automating something that is today done manually. I mean, it's a very simple value proposition, but a very powerful one. So the white paper, the videos, the website at about.bancor.network. And obviously, I think that you really learn a lot just from trying the product, using the product. You use the network, use smart contract technology to convert between tokens. Instead of using the old exchange solution, just use a smart contract technology to convert in a fully decentralized way. Just the experience of that is kind of nice, and it's like sending crypto for the first time, to your friends, like, what just happened? So I recommend that to everyone.
I love it. How many total tokens do you guys have?
So I think it's 64 right now, but we're like adding every day, so I'm not keeping track.
Okay. How many total BNT tokens in existence for the investors?
So I can look.
No, no worries.
Because BNT actually has a variable supply because it's a smart token, and that means that it doesn't have the same number all the time. If the valuation goes up, the supply grows a little bit, and the same when it goes down, it shrinks. So now the total supply is 74 million tokens, 74 and a half, about that.
That is very cool. And then you want to talk a little bit about the team of developers that you guys have, building this infrastructure. I mean, if you had to pick one person, who's the rock star that you want to highlight and tell everybody about?
Oh, so definitely Yudi Levy. We are actually four co-founders in this whole thing, and three of us are like more, I would say, business oriented. Maybe I'm one of the three that is a little bit technical, and Yudi is our CTO. So he's running the entire tech. And when we started that, he said, I'm old already, Eyal. I don't want to code so much anymore. I'm not that young. I don't feel like working 70 hours a day coding. So I said, okay, you're not going to have to code in this company, because in the previous one he did code. I said, in this one, you're not going to have to code. I'm fine with that. But only one thing, you're going to code the smart contracts, because that's the holy of holy.
Right.
I need the most professional coder I can get on the smart contracts, because you just cannot have bugs. You cannot tolerate, not in this day of age. I think that solution will be coming that will allow even toleration of bugs in smart contracts, and there will be a way to mitigate that. But at this point in time, that's pretty bad for the project when that happened. So that's what we did. So he was writing the contract, and actually he got such an amazing compliments from Nick Johnson from the Ethereum Foundation, that and some other people that really liked his style, and and used these contracts as an example. So he's the definite rock star. He's being a judge in a smart contract contest around the world. So by far,
very cool. And then you've got, some world-class advisors too. These guys are, monsters in the space as well. You guys have like Tim Draper and Brock Pierce. What are these guys? I mean, obviously, we all know what they bring to the table, but what are they doing for Bancor? What do you guys have them doing?
So, Brock Pierce, for example, he really connected us with the EOS people, where he knows them, and he really liked both projects. He likes Bancor and he likes EOS, and I think that those kind of links of trusts are very helpful in this small world and small industry. Because before Bancor, most of the people in the crypto space that we knew were all Israelis, because there's really nothing to do in the age of Bitcoin. We did a lot of things, but we did them in Israel because they're all like pilots. All those local currencies back in 2012 and 13, and we had like a huge thing running here with usage and person, but without the blockchain. So they were not liquid, which was the problem, by the way. When you do local currency on blockchain, they can actually be liquid, which kind of changes the whole paradigm, and that's part of the reason of why we're here. So I think where was I?
We're talking about Brock Pierce and what he brings to the table, and then Tim Draper.
So Brock Pierce was great at that, and I think he adds a lot of value. He delivers the message of crypto wide and strong, and he's been dealing with non-governmental currencies for as long as anyone did. When he did that for computer games, or markets that traded currencies of World of Warcraft and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see that the first people that started working with the custom currencies, let's call them, are here now. We're also involved together in the Mastercoin project that was at the time with Brock. And in general, Bernard Liatar, who is the president of the foundation, he is a world-renowned name. I was learning from his videos back in 2011 about currencies and local currencies and the reason behind that. And this guy has just he read our white paper and he called me and he said, I'm very excited about this. So we started to work together since. So it's been a great experience working with people that used to be, for me, like, giants that I hear about, and today I have the privilege and the opportunity to, enjoy their wisdom and advice.
That is awesome. It's very cool. And so when can we look forward to the new wallet coming out? What's the target release date for that?
So officially it's April 4.
Okay.
But we make the nice news blitz, but the word is that you can even start using it right now.
Oh wow! All right, very, very cool. And so another fun kind of question for you. You had said that you're a music lover. I don't know if you follow like the UFC or fighting or anything like that, but if you were going to get into a fight, what kind of walkout music or fight music would you have playing in the background before you got into the ring?
If I'm going to the fight, oh my God. No, I'll probably just select some Star Wars theme or something like that. Or you know what? Or Queen, We Are the Champion. That would be great.
We Are the Champion.
In the beginning of the fight, we are, just because of the joke of it.
That is awesome. Very cool. So is there anything in this interview we haven't covered yet that you want the world to know? Anything for your investors, the audience in general?
So, one message that I like to carry across, wherever I have a chance to speak is that it's really critical that people use the technology. use, experience it, because the audience, the users are part of it. They're part of the creation cycle. Yes, we are the crazy entrepreneurs that raise money and try to build something useful. We're part of that as well. But the audience, the holders, they are part of it as well. And I think it's very important to kind of try out. You know, I've been playing, I never used an online casino in my life, but I was playing Edge, you know, the edgeless casino, just because, you know, I was a participant, and, you know, I like what their message is, and I was playing some blackjack. And I think it's really, really important that we kind of support each other and help each other, because what we're doing is we're building technology, we're improving our infrastructure, we're doing an important job. Look what the internet did to everything in short 20 years, and we're doing that, continuing that route. So we need everyone's support to do that successfully.
Very cool. Well, it's been my honor and pleasure to meet you and to learn about Bancor, and for you to share all the cool stuff that you guys are doing and going to be doing. So I'll make sure to put the website link up here for everybody. And, you know, happy Easter and God bless you. And thanks a bunch for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
With Bancor, what initially drew you to the project, and what value do you see bringing the masses?
Well, it's a really great project, and now they're getting very close to what their big vision is. Their big vision is everybody has a coin. Everybody has a token. It's worth whatever it's worth. And it's all tradable through the Bancor system. And that is a vision that I am a total believer in. I think we're going to see some amazing things happen. We're going to see Bancor be bolstered by more and more tokens. They've made it very easy to create a token, so you can go on the Bancor website and you can create your own token. It's very easy to do, and then that token also immediately becomes tradable, and Bancor has in effect become the marketplace for all the tokens. It's going to be really exciting to see how this all evolves over time. But anyway, that's what Bancor is doing.
That sounds great. It's going to, all the decentralized exchanges better look out. All the regular exchanges better look out, because here comes Bancor.
Yeah, and I think when we all have our tokens, I mean, there's a world you could potentially imagine where you say, okay, I will do this work, but you need to buy my tokens for this work to be done. And then that's the way you get paid for your work. So you're an Uber driver, you go and you say, well, here's my token, buy my tokens, do it on Bancor, and my tokens go up the better an Uber driver I am. And they go down if I've had some 1 stars.
Yep.
And up if I've had some 5 stars. And then that becomes yet another marketplace, but this is sort of a marketplace for people and social their time. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I sure hope you guys enjoyed the interview, man. It was really awesome to get all the perspective and to hear all the cool stuff going on. And a huge thanks to Nate Heineman for helping set all this up, for Eyal Hertzog, of course, for taking the time to tell us about everything, and for Tim Draper to stop by. Awesome stuff, guys. So as you can see, I'm pretty excited about Bancor, right? I mean, you got guys like Brock Pierce, too, that's on the team, right? I mean, he's EOS, right? So they're looking like they're going to be building this on EOS, if I understood them correctly. So that's exciting for that platform. The whole idea of never really needing a regular exchange, again, is really freaking cool, right? So you don't have to really worry about finding a buyer and a seller and all that kind of stuff. You guys can just swap tokens back and forth on their platform. So it's really exciting to see all the stuff that they're going to be putting on their platform, you know, coin-wise, so that way we can make the swaps right then and there, and then not even having to go to their platform to actually make these swaps, to be able to do it as some kind of like MetaMask plugin. Plus this new wallet that they're releasing today. Guys, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here. So this isn't an ICO. These guys are on a ton of exchanges already, like 80-something exchanges. So this is definitely something, you know, keep an eye on. If it's something you guys are investing in or something you guys want to invest in, make sure you guys check out their website, interact with their team. They've been super responsive. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Remember, make sure you guys put your public Ether address in the comments with your comments. It's too much much work to try and go through and figure out who's who. So public ether address in the comments, guys. Thank you all for watching. God bless you, and take care.